Ba-bee-ba, ba-bee-ba. I sense someone's looking at my butt. Oh. So there is someone looking at my butt. It's you, the viewer, taking me in on this Christmas day. You're welcome. So, what am I doing here in, the Christmas dimension, for lack of a better term? I am taking in the sights, the sound, the smell of space, and Christmas trees, and whatnot. I may have fallen into the Star Wars Christmas special. There might be Wookiees wandering about, so I'm going to try to make this brief. They get hungry on Life Day. So, another movie I saw. A infamous one that honestly wasn't bad, it was pretty fun. Santa Claus, the movie. The movie. That's a title with gravitas. Santa Claus, the movie. That's what the producers thought when they made that thing. So, what is it? Well, in 1985 or so, the producers who made Supergirl, which in itself was trying to spin off the Superman movies into another franchise with, let's say, poor results, considering we had a franchise non-starter that involved Supergirl and witches and bombed completely. So, great success. Let's follow that with Santa Claus, the movie, which tries to be several things, and also kind of feels like a Superman movie at about the halfway point, but we'll get to that. So it's meant to start as, essentially, the origin of the Big Red Man, which, Father Christmas, there's all sorts of things you could do here, like go into the history of things and legends, and no, he's just going to be a toy maker man with his wife who is going around to villages in Scandinavia? Question mark? They're in somewhere. In fantasy, ancient time, somewhere. Where he's making crappy wooden toys and giving them to little children out in bumfuck, wherever the hell Viking land this is. I don't know. I don't think the movie doesn't know either. So, Santa's making toys for little children. He's got his wife with him. He's got a couple of reindeer. And he goes out into a blizzard and dies. Freezes to death with his deer and his wife. They're all dead. You could easily take this movie from there and decide this whole thing from this point is his dying mental condition as he freezes to death in the cold. Or you just take it in the more fun aspect of what actually happens, and they show in the movie, which is magical Christmas elves come out of the cold and decide to, this toy maker man, he'll do. They rescue him and his wife, and I think the deer. I forget if they just give him new deer, or if they save the two freezing to death ones. I don't remember. I don't care. Takes him into the North Pole, which is a wonderful, expensive looking for the time, physical set full of all these wooden contraptions and bells and whistles and map paintings and kind of a lot, but it's a cool lot. And eventually it fills up with elves who are all these just these middle-aged character actors with interesting faces, and Dudley Moore. And Dudley Moore is here, and he's going to be important because he gets kind of top billing along with John Lithgow, who's going to be our villain when we get to him in the second half. Also, our Santa Claus is the Big Lebowski. Literally, the Big Lebowski is Santa Claus in this. So, that's kind of fun. Santa's okay in this. He doesn't do that much beyond just be Santa. He's just a ho-ho-ho man. He's friendly. His wife's kind of amusing. Gets away with calling him fat, so that's funny. The elves are mostly just there. And you got some... Apparently, there's an old one who was played by... Oh, I forget his name. A famous old man. I forgot his name. I remembered it when I saw the movie, but it's been a few days. I forgot. Famous old man. He is the elder elf. No explanation past that, just the old one. That says, hey, we're going to bless you with eternal life to bring joy to children all across the world forever. You don't get a say in this because otherwise we would leave you out in the cold to resume being dead. And your wife comes along too, and I guess your damn deer. So, you're Santa Claus now. You have magic powers. You can go, time is no longer affects you. You're immortal. You get to do Santa Claus shit forever. So, you know, there you go. That's Santa. Elves just find dying guy in the snow and his wife and say, hey, you want to be a magic man that brings toys for kids forever? Cool. You got it. Well, that's our origin, and from that point we have montages of him going through history as the world evolves, and he just does the Santa thing forever. And eventually we get to the middle of the movie, and hard intersection between the first half and the second half to where now we have a more of a plot of Santa realizes he needs to modernize a little bit, and Dudley Moore Elf is annoying and is a inventor and makes all of these inventions that don't work. This is the plot of the guy from Gremlins, the dad, where he makes shit that doesn't work very well. And Santa, for some reason, lets him make some toy things and they break immediately, which makes Santa look bad, because Santa was too stupid to actually do quality control on this guy's invention machine, which he should have done in the first place. So this is kind of half his fault for not paying attention to what his workforce was doing. Anywho, so like, the elf, at least the elf is smart enough to go, Dudley Moore Elf is smart enough to go, you know, I kind of screwed up. I'm going to go leave and go out into the cold and die, because you're Santa and I'm an elf, and that's just how it's going to be, and away I go. And it's kind of sad, and it's like a crying reindeer and Dudley Moore and Santa being sad. I'm like, movie, you're trying, and do you remember your title is Santa Claus the Movie? Keep that in mind. But no, he doesn't go out in the cold and die, you know, that's kind of what they look like, that's how they shot it too. No, he teleports to modern day, it's not New York, but it's kind of New York, but it's also Toronto and Chicago and England. Anyways, he goes to modern city land, and there he finds, actually I think this was supposed to be in New York, because we find our villain there, John Lithgow, who is basted himself into the most glorious Christmas ham you have ever seen on film, where he is acting like this and overdoing everything and being the hammiest ham they ever had, and he's the best part of the movie. He's great. He is playing, what if Lex Luthor was in charge of a toy company? So like the first introduction scene to him is being hauled in front of a Senate committee because his toys are full of fiberglass and nails and garbage. And he's in trouble for that. So, you know, realistic movie, folks. Very realistic movie. Oh, my belly jiggles. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Ho, 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 ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I can just do this the whole video. Ho, 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 ho. Anywho, bowl full of jelly. Bowl full of jelly, me. I have bowl full of jelly. John Lithgow. He's great. He's the best part of the movie. He's our villain. And he is basically auditioning to play Lex Luthor. Even though the Superman movies are already kind of on the downslope at this point. They already had Gene Hackman as Luthor. So, I'm like, Lithgow, I get it. You're trying to be Lex Luthor. You're doing a great, funny job, but you kind of missed the boat. It's a bit late. I'm sorry. And they're not going to get to Maxwell Lord. They'll do that with Wonder Woman 1984 in about 2 or 3 decades. But, sorry. Still, you're funny. Also, as part of the plot, part of this at this point is Santa basically kidnapping / adopting, but not really, an orphan child who's kind of like the human version of that one mouse kid from the American Tail. You know, the New Yorker one, that kid. It's like a human version of that kid, a non-mouse version of that kid. If this had talking mice, it'd be a better movie. Most things are better movies when they have talking mice. Also, I get hungry when there's talking mice because, you know, cat. So, he has an orphan child that he, you know, could, like, adopt earlier in the movie and, like, make not homeless and an orphan and living on the streets. No, he just kind of, like, lets him ride the sleigh a little bit for a joyride. There's a little girl who's rich, and shocker, surprise twist, is John Lithgow's kid, who kind of has the orphan kid as her pet orphan for a little while. Like, it's kind of weird. I'm kind of like, huh. There's some mixed messaging in this movie, but like a lot of it. But yeah, Dudley Moore Elf appears in the city and comes to the decision to, how do I make things better? I'm going to kind of encroach upon Santa's, shtick. I'm gonna make toys for the kiddies, and how do I do that? I'm gonna find a toy maker. Who's a famous toy? Who's a big important toy maker? Oh, this guy. He was just a Senate committee for making horrible toys. This is gonna be a great plan. And Lithgow sees this Dudley Moore Elf who has magic, immediately shows he has magic, and is like, and wants to give children toys for free. Nostalgia critic joke here. Yes, he's talked about this movie. Yeah. But yeah, it's funny. At this point, it's Lithgow and Dudley Moore are basically our two leads, and it's kind of not exactly a buddy movie, but kind of a duo thing. And Santa Claus Lebowski is just regulated to the sideline. Like, the movie will pop in to check in on him once in a while, being somewhat depressed that his favorite elf disappeared, even though he didn't really pay that much attention to that elf particularly beforehand until he put him in charge of a thing, and then he immediately fucked it up. So, not feeling it. Yeah, Lithgow and Dudley Moore, elf. Lithgow has the idea of, like, let's make Christmas too, and give children magical candy that lets them fly. I'm sure this won't have consequences. And immediately he becomes a billionaire overnight again. Dudley Moore Elf is beloved, but he's not feeling fulfilled. He's not feeling like he's doing what he should be doing. He feels a lack of the Christmas spirit, and it doesn't help that John Lithgow is like, let's do Christmas too in January. I'll make billions, money, business, and so forth. And it all comes together in a kind of a climax to where you find out that some of the magic candy is explosive, because that happened, because magic is apparently flammable. Good to know. I need to be careful when I'm casting spells I don't accidentally set things on fire. Unless I'm casting Fireball, when then the point is to set things on fire. If any of that makes sense, that magic is flammable. Anyway, the movie ends with a loop-de-loop with a sled that was kind of built up for reasons, and it's like, you could have just grabbed the kid and Dudley Moore out of the sled that they were in that was going to explode because of the candy in the back. You could have just grabbed them instead of waiting for the sled to explode, doing a loop-de-loop under them to catch them. You could have just grabbed them before they exploded. Like, you caught up to them. You could have just grabbed them and gotten away before the thing exploded. Would have been safer. It's a good thing that inertia and shockwave damage and, physics don't really apply in this magical Santa movie. So, could have been a problem when the exploding sled happened. But no, not that kind of movie. And John Lithgow, the cops come to get him, but he shovels magical candy canes in his mouth and flies away out the window. So that's kind of great. Especially when I rewatch FORRRR from the Sun. I like that show. That was a good show. I should go back and rewatch that because John Lithgow is kind of awesome. He's great. Go watch stuff with John Lithgow in it. Is this movie good? No. Is it funny? Yeah. It's another amusing artifact, I guess I could call this one. Like, it's clear what the studio was trying to do. Let's try to capitalize on Santa and making him our own and doing our thing with him, making a bunch of money, which, considering the villain being the entire motivation is business money, man, kind of ironic. So, that's kind of funny. But yeah, this was not a big success, although apparently it's very well loved in the UK. I need to ask, I need to ask my UK friends, like, did you grow up with this one? Was this, like, your big favorite? Because apparently it's, like, a classic in UK. States, not so much. It is a weird novelty that some people grew up with. At this point, most people have forgotten it. It's just kind of like a weird thing. Kind of a meme, but not quite. Also has crying reindeer, which looked silly. Because, you know, I'm going to focus on the reindeer that cries being the silliest part of Santa Claus, the movie. Anyways, Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho. Ooh, my belly to flap. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. And so forth. Merry Christmas. Like and subscribe. Watch the other Christmas video I just posted today, which is about the Polar Express. You should have watched that one first, because I talked about that one first. You gotta watch these in order. It's the only way the continuity makes sense. It's like Marvel. You gotta watch them in order. There's post-credit sequences. I stripped naked. I'm already naked. I gotta cover my tatas. Like and subscribe, so on and so forth. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, yada yada. Bye bye. Boot.